There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a great show for you today, and we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't really have any idea if they haven't been exposed to it, but we're going to learn all about it today. She has books, she's got a website, she's got all kinds of stuff, and she works with people both in person and remotely. And I'm going to have Rochelle introduce her. Rochelle, first of all, how you feeling, kiddo?
You know, I've waited for this all day, Kevin. I don't think I've had this much energy and positivity throughout my day as I do right now, because this is an important subject. As I was telling our guests before we came on, so many people going into the season, you feel a little weak and your mind starts to change in your body, and maybe you gain weight or you feel a little more sad than normal, or things maybe just hit you out of nowhere. And I've seen that coming from so many different angles. And to know that there's a different approach rather than something fully medical, and ways that we can learn to maybe help ourselves a little bit more, and talking to somebody who is so equipped in this kind of world, it makes it a little easier for the rest of us. So if you are listening to the show, please stay for the entire thing, because we have some really good information to give out. And we have Abby Beale here with us today. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, you did.
Okay,
You did.
perfect. Well, thank you so much, Abby, for being here. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you. And I'm hoping you feel better soon.
Thank you. Having you here is lighting my energy up a little bit more, so I'm thankful for that.
Great. Thank you.
Energy. Isn't that what we're going to be talking about a little bit today? Is, energy and having it and using it and stuff. And we're going to be more specific, and we'll see if I can pronounce this correctly. We are going to be talking about
Homeopathic.
Or what? Abby, why can't I say homeopathy? It's not it's homeopathy.
There you go.
Got it. You got
Good
it.
job.
Yes, that's
It
good.
just took a while to figure it out. Homeopathy, and you've been, first of all, you have a bachelor's degree and you have a master's degree in unrelated subjects, but that means that you are capable and versed at studying things.
Right.
And tell me the story, but I think it goes like when your son was very young, he had ear infections. I had ear infections when I was a kid, and the medical science wasn't able to help very much, but you found something that did.
Yes.
And then you said, I need to study this a little bit more. And you've done that, and you've been doing all the way since. Rochelle, you were 5 years old when she started studying this, and when I started doing the radio.
That's why I have gray hair.
Me too.
Well, I have no hair, so I would rather have gray hair than no hair, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So there's many ways to use the word homeopathy. So homeopathy is the area that I'm in, but there's such a thing as homeopathic remedies, and a homeopath is a person that is a practitioner of homeopathy. And when I first started, when I was looking for a homeopath, this was 1996 when my son was 9 months old. It was my mom who actually said, "Have you gone to a homeopath yet?" And I remember like questioning her, "A homo what?" Like I didn't know what it was. And so even now I still laugh when I say that, because I use homeopathy so much all the time, but it was a homo what? And I think people, when they hear the word homeopathy, think of the word homo, like, and that's it. Homo means like. It means two things that are very similar. So it's very similar to the word homo, but it's homeopathy, which is like, in this case, like cures like. So just know that there are many different versions of saying homeopathy, homeopathic medicine, homeopath. I've been called a homeopathist. I don't know where that comes from, but whatever. As long as they respect the concept, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, they used the word homo, and that meant something totally
Totally
different. But
different. Yes.
yeah,
Correct. Yes.
but and welcome to the show. We're really excited to have you here because you use energy to heal. Would that be
Mhm.
correct?
Well, the remedies are the energy that heals. I'm just the one that helps to pick which energy a person should be taking, which will heal them in the hopes that it will heal them or make them at least feel better. So yes,
Yeah.
it is homeopathy is energy medicine. It's not chemical medicine. It's not taken that it goes through your liver. It doesn't affect your stomach like an antibiotic can mess up your microbiome. No, it's not like that at all. It's something that you put under your tongue. It's absorbed into your mucosal lining, into your body, and you never take it with water. You just take it in a clean mouth, and it's a different animal. I'll give you that. It's a very
Yeah.
different way of being, and it's very holistic and healthy. It's the remedies are made, and I can go into this too, is how remedies are made, but they're made from plants and minerals and animals primarily. And so it's like it comes from nature. It's just a matter of understanding which one is the best one for you based on your individual symptoms. So it's a very individualistic energy medicine.
But it's all natural.
All
Mhm.
natural. Yes, very completely. Yes.
So it's made from animals and plants and everything that is nature. And
Yes.
it goes back a really really long time because before there was medicine,
Mhm.
there were natural cures for things where they would utilize different herbs or plants to help somebody heal and so this has been now you would know how long has it been out there and formulated. And did it start in India with, no, where did it start?
No, I'll tell you the story.
Please.
It's a lovely story.
I
It
can
was a
guess, but you probably know.
there was a German doctor named Samuel Hahnemann in the late 1700s who was practicing medicine in Germany, and he was just very distraught about the kinds of medicine he was doing because at that time you were like putting leeches on people to kind of draw all the blood out. They were giving them things to make them vomit so that all the bad stuff comes out, and he was realizing that that was harming people and it really wasn't helping them. He said, I can't be a doctor, I just can't do it. So instead, to make a living, he decided he would be looking at medical texts. He would be translating medical texts. That's how he'd make a living. And one of the things he read was that there was this thing called cinchona bark that they said was stringent and bitter, and that is why people would get malaria, or it was the thing that would cure malaria. But what he found out is that cinchona bark, which we know as quinine, that's what we know as quinine, is when he ate it in its material form when he was healthy, and it would give him the symptoms of malaria. And he would be like, "Whoa, this is really wild." And then after he started to get better, because after, the effects wore off, he said, "I'm gonna try that again." So he did, and he just took a little bit less, and he said, "If I take a little less, am I gonna still get the symptoms?" And he got to the point where he ended up with understanding or creating this homeopathic dose where he got it to a point where it was diluted enough times that there really was no material substance left, and it was given to people that had malaria, and it helped them tremendously. And so that's how homeopathy started, was from this guy who tried it on himself and then figured out that the more dilute the substance was, the less toxic it would be for the human. And so that was in, like, 1795 to 1800, and so that was where it all started. And he then started looking at other substances. Like there was a scarlet fever epidemic in his area, and scarlet fever was deadly for so many people. And he found a remedy called belladonna. And belladonna is made from a plant, and it was given to people who were sick. And then he said, what if I give belladonna to those that don't have it? Would it prevent them from getting get not malaria, sorry, the scarlet fever? And it did. So not only was the belladonna helpful for the person who had those symptoms, but it was also good for the people that didn't get it, because that was what we call it the genus epidemicus. It was kind of like the remedy that was for almost all the symptoms that everybody had with scarlet fever. And so it was so cool that he did that. And It's like if I ever had a chance to like have lunch with a dead person, I'd want to have it with him. I just I want to know. People say, who would you want to meet with, dead or alive? And I said, Hahnemann. I got to talk to him. I got to know, what was he thinking. Oh my goodness, he was amazing, absolutely
Well,
amazing.
next time we have a psychic medium on, we'll invite you on so
Thank
that
you.
maybe you can have a conversation
I
with
would
him.
love it. I would love it. Yes.
Because for those of you that are not history buffs, you probably don't know that in the 1700s, they thought that bleeding people, and they would call somebody who was called a barber to their house, and they would bleed you because that was supposed to make you better. They had no idea that malaria, as an example, was caused by mosquitoes.
Hmm.
So they didn't work to do that. And so the lack of knowledge, it really is amazing that somebody from that era that would have been trained in all these archaic methods of trying to, and then he came up with something totally different. That's pretty cool. Did he ever say how he found these things or how he became inspired to utilize them and figure out how to make them work? Or did he ever get into that?
As far as I know, and this is, don't quote me on it, but from what I understand is he was just looking to nature to figure out what could he use to help people with all different kinds of symptoms. And so in the books that we have something called the materia medica. And the materia medica of, let's say, belladonna or of cinchona bark, it has all the symptoms that a person would get if they were intoxicated with that substance, so that if a person is sick, like looking like that, you can give them that remedy and it will help them tremendously. So you don't give it to someone to get those symptoms, but that's how these remedies were decided upon, is that you take the remedy and these symptoms come up and they get documented and documented, and then they end up in our books, and then we get to use them to decide what remedy is good. So like if there were 10 people in front of me and they all said, I have migraines, I have really bad headaches, it's not like, okay, take a Motrin. It's not like one size fits all. You look at
Yeah.
these 10 people and you kind of know one of them, when they get a migraine, they have to lay down, have a cold compress on their head. They have to have, darkness. They can't move. Another one needs to go for a run. That's a different one. That like, when I get a headache, I just got to go run, and that's a different, totally different remedy picture. And other ones
Mhm.
will say I have to vomit before I feel better, and others are just saying like I can't eat, I can't drink, I can't smell anything. So you have to know what's their modalities, what makes it better, what makes it worse, and also what brings it on. Is it from grief? Is it from getting pissed off from your boss? Or is it from your hormones? Like there's so many different pieces to a symptom puzzle. And so it all depends on those things. So that's why there's so many different remedies, because, headaches, there's so many different kinds and different people.
Well, and I hope that
Mm.
Rochelle occasionally gets migraines, and I'm hoping I'm
Mm.
not the cause of it, Rochelle.
No. Oh my gosh, Kevin, though, well, that would be an easy excuse. Let me tell you that. Oh, it's my boss's fault.
There's
Because
there's
no, no.
reasons. There are reasons, but
It's the
don't
one
don't
thing that
admit it.
I'm like, "No, I'm fine," and
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I'm not. But Abby, this is making me think about, I don't know if we can take a break maybe earlier. Kevin, you have something to say, but it's making me think about, our flu shots.
Mm.
So, right, you've got all these people that are talking about, well, if you inject that into you, then you're gonna get sick anyway. And then there's the people who are like, well, you need this so that your body can learn to fight it before it naturally has to, or however that works. And
Mhm.
I'm very curious on to how that moved through that time frame and if that has an effect on what we're doing now. Because this guy, I first of all, I don't know how he didn't die. I would have probably been so terrified, I might have
Mm.
given myself a heart attack just because I didn't
Mm.
feel good, but, he explored these things, and I know they've gotta still benefit us today, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And there's even more, people have taken on his work and have
Yeah.
definitely added to the substances, like, things like coffee and chocolate and metals, things like that, that normally he would not have done. But keep in mind that he was in a time And he also lived into his 80s, by the way, so he did not die. And he didn't die young, which a lot of people back then could have. You have one infection, you're done, you're
They
out,
did.
you know? And
Yeah.
so he lived into his 80s because he, for whatever reason, he must have figured out how to keep his health alive using homeopathic medicine. It doesn't mean that, you do homeopathy that you can't die young. That's kind of a falsehood. But it's more that he did survive and he thrived, doing that. In terms of
Well,
your question though about the flu, you want me to answer that?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the flu shot, first of all, I respect people's decisions if they decide that they want to get a flu shot. But what I do is I encourage them to research the
Mm,
insert. What's in it? What do they put in it? What are the side effects of it? And what's the efficacy of it? Because if you look back in history, that you'll find that there's some things on the insert and in the efficacy that are just not that positive. And so if people are informed and then they decide to do it, that's their choice. But to
mhm.
just blindly say, I'm going to do it because someone said I should, I'm like, I think we need to be our
Really?
own advocates these days. I really
Yeah.
do, you know? So,
I,
yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And we're going to take this break. But when we come back, I've got a special guest who I want to introduce to you because I want to know if plants in Kenya, where he lives, can be used for homeopathy. And because he's got 350 children he takes care of, and doing it in a natural way would be good. But first, we're going to play this, and then we're going to introduce Samuel to you, if that's
Okay.
okay to do. We'll be right
Sure.
back.
They gave her crowns, but never freedom. They gave her titles, but never peace. The Girl of Many Crowns is the story of Judith of Francia, a woman born into power, yet bound by duty. In an age ruled by kings and scarred by war, she found her strength not in her throne, but in her heart. This is a story of courage, love, and the fight to be free when the world told her she couldn't be. Step into her journey, feel her fire, and see how one woman's choices change the course of history. The Girl of Many Crowns, available now on Amazon Books, Kindle, Amazon Audiobooks, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and BookBaby Bookshop. Order your copy today.
And welcome back to Positive Talk. Rochelle, that's the first time that I've seen that. Did you like it?
Yes. Of course I like it. It's from our team. You know they do amazing work. And with that
I know.
in note, if you have a book coming out, come and join us. Share your positivity and maybe we can help you out a little bit because we have fun doing it. But let's
And
introduce our Samuel.
Abby, show us your book first.
Oh,
Yes.
it's called Homeopathy
Homeopathy.
Primer, Getting Started with Homeopathy, a study guide, learning resource, and reference tool.
Beautiful.
Very
It's a
cool.
work of art. It really is.
Yeah.
And I wanted to introduce Samuel because, and go ahead, Rochelle.
Yes. Samuel says, greetings, Brother Kevin and my good sister Burchelle and guest Abby. We are listening and watching to you live from the Kiberia slums in Nairobi, Kenya. This is our favorite program. Here we show in Kenya that it is night 1:10 a.m. But we are sitting in our center watching this program. This is where we learn a lot from different professionals, coaches, entrepreneurs, and philanthropy. Kiberia is tuned in 99.9% of the time. And hi, Samuel, we love you so much. We are going to wrap this show a little bit about maybe some things that are not only in the US, because, right, in Kenya and Germany and all these different places, there's got to be so many different plants that we don't really even have access to. So we are unable to know about them correctly, right? Or is it kind of right in front of our face and we just don't pay attention?
You mean for remedies? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah.
just natural types of health work.
So if I'm understanding, what Samuel is looking to do is to use homeopathic concepts using the plants that he has in Kenya. Is
Right.
that correct? What am I?
Well, he didn't know that before he tuned in because he
Right.
just tunes in but now that you're here
Okay.
and are an expert in this, there may be some things that occur naturally in Kenya other than like snakes and spiders and stuff that might be beneficial, because finding a doctor there is worse than finding water, which some people have to walk up to 6 miles to get water.
Wow.
Um, so anything that you could offer, and just, and we don't have any specifics, but just there may be some
Yeah.
folks there that he can access.
So the first thing I can say is that there are a few places in Africa right now that have homeopathy, and they use it. And I'm trying to remember exactly. I know there's one called Homeopathy for Health in Africa that's more in South Africa, and they focus a lot on the AIDS epidemic. But what a person could do, and understanding you can make remedies, but you really have to know how to do it. And
Mhm.
I mean, the remedies are pretty inexpensive. This is a kit. This is a kit that I got from Helios, which is in the UK. You can also get it here in the US on Amazon. And it holds 36 different remedies in it. And so much can be helped with this kit alone. And you can also learn how to make more of these. Once you have medicated pellets, which these are, you can learn how to make more once you have a supply. So you don't have to keep buying these. Although this whole kit costs $73 US. It's pretty inexpensive. In
Yeah.
addition, there's also here in the United States, they're out of France, but this is called Boiron. These are called blue tubes. And so these have a little more remedies in it, but these also have the little white pellets. This is called arnica. This is for overuse, for any bumps or bruises, or right after surgery, any kind of swelling, bruising. It's a great remedy. I carry it with me all the time. You never know when that's going to happen when you need it. I've given it to so many people, like somebody that fell down is like, here, have some arnica. Um, so so these little tubes here cost about $8 US, $8 to $10, depending on where you go. And there are 80 pellets in here, and you only need a couple of pellets for a dose. And so it lasts a really long time. So in Africa, I think if there was someone, let's just say somebody got my book, right? This is for acute prescribing, got my book, and then also had a kit, or they were able to even get an enhanced kit, that they could do a lot with that. There is, oh gosh, what is it called? There's a homeopathic association that was in Haiti. It's called Homeopathy Without Borders. You might want to contact them because they have trained people in Haiti how to treat people in Haiti, because you can't get into Haiti now. It's too dangerous. But while it was not so dangerous, there were volunteers from Homeopathy Without Borders that went in, they created a specific manual for them, and they also were able to get donations of remedies. And so there are some great options, especially if you're in a country that doesn't typically have homeopathy.
Abby, there are 20 to 25 people at 1:15 in the morning in Kenya, feverishly taking notes about
Oh,
what you
cool.
just said.
Good, good, good. I hope so.
Because
Yeah.
because
Mm,
a natural way of doing that would be
mm,
so much better than trying to find a doctor, because there
mm,
aren't a lot of doctors, and that's why their lifespan is a little shorter than,
mm,
because because I would been thinking about my own life, and had it not been for medicine, I had pneumonia in my 30s, and that would have
mm,
killed me.
mhm.
I've had my hip replaced, both of them, and that would have put me in a wheelchair and probably would have killed me. So, if it's
You need
all,
medicine. You need the medicine. You do. Yeah.
well, when you, as 5 months ago, I broke my wrist and had to have a
Ooh.
plate put in it and stuff. Now it looks like I tried to commit suicide, but
Mm,
there are times when a doctor is absolutely totally needed, but
yes.
there are also times when you can do it in a natural way
Mm,
and not have some of the side effects or some of the things that go
mm,
on. So I would, it's a really cool idea, and of course you've been doing this for a long time, so you're
mm.
very versed in it. So congratulations.
Well,
Oh,
thank you, and know that you can be supported too. So if you do, when you broke your wrist, you said you broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you break your wrist, there's some really great remedies that can support your healing and the pain as well. And I've treated quite a few people like with broken shoulders, broken legs, knee replacements, hip replacements, and you can give homeopathic remedies to encourage and advocate for more healing. So it's not like it's one or the other in this case. They're, they should work together, don't you think?
I do.
But
Well,
they don't
the modern
typically.
Western medicine is so uppity up on what they do, and
Yeah.
that they won't look at other avenues in a lot of cases that could be beneficial, because pharmaceutical companies don't like that.
I know, but that's okay. There's some people that do like to come to homeopathy because it's actually a very good, inexpensive, non-toxic option. So, and it's
And,
okay to have that choice. It's nice to have choices.
Yep.
and Abby, I've learned something at the tender age that I am, because I'm not a woman. I never had to deal with this, and I didn't know anybody who really did. Do you? Is there anything in homeopathy that can help women's monthly cycle and the
Oh,
cramps and the pain and all the crap that goes along with it?
I
First.
spoken like a true man.
Yes.
It is crap. It can be. But yes, homeopathy, it can be incredibly helpful. Again, it's very individualized what the symptoms are. So we kind of tease out, so, what is it like mid-cycle? What is it like a couple of days before? What's it like the minute you get your period? How long does it last? Is it clotty? Is it long? Do you get it regularly? I mean, so we have to tease out all of those things. And when did you get it? Did you get it when you were 10? Did you get it when you were 16? Like, those are different remedies right there, because that says an awful lot about your hormones. So yes, yes, any kind of period pain, menopausal stuff, pretty much homeopathy can help with almost everything. I hate to say,
So
yes.
I
Yeah,
have to
you
ask
don't hate to
you.
say it. That's good news.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Because
Rochelle. You wanted to ask a question, Rochelle. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm thinking there's somebody in our audience that's wondering the same thing of me, with, aside from maybe body symptoms, which I hate to separate the body and the mind, but how much of this is helpful with mental types of things, mental disorders, maybe just your mentality in general being a little more stable? Is that a thing as well? And does that mix with the medicine as the same thing that you said?
So homeopathy is a combination of mental, emotional, and physical. So if someone does come to me and they have something physical, I want to know all about that, but I also want to know more about them and how do they react to the world, what makes them angry, what makes them cry. Do they have anxiety? Are they depressed? Are they grief stricken? They'll tell me, and I get that through I get a timeline of a person's life, and I get to see, and they get to see kind of how they've gotten to where they are right now. And it's really very enlightening for both of us to see
Yeah.
that. And so, yes, the physical thing is being addressed, but it does also kind of counter along with their mental and emotional issues. So it all goes together for the most part when it's a chronic situation. So here's, for example, when my son went to college, the same one that had the ear infections, when he went to college, and he that first night that we brought him to his room, he was about 4 hours away, and we dropped him off, and we got him all settled, and we get home 4 hours later, and he calls hysterically crying, like, I can't stay here, why am I here, I don't want to be here, this is horrible, come get me. And we tried to reassure him that that's where he needed to be. And that kit that I gave him when he went to college, the homeopathic kit that looked very similar to this one, I said, please go in your kit and get a remedy called Ignatia amara. Take 2 pellets, put it under your tongue, try and go to sleep, and let me know how you are in the morning. He did that, went to sleep, woke up, and he was like, okay, mom, I'm good. Stuff like that. So yes, when it's that acute, or your dog dies and you're just so bereft, like Ignatia is a great remedy to just pull you back into reality. It doesn't mean you're not sad, but you kind of grab hold of yourself again. So Ignatia is a great remedy for that purpose. And that's for
Need some
acute
of that.
meaning sudden onset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are saying under your tongue, why don't you just swallow the thing? It's because it goes directly into the bloodstream from underneath your tongue and bypasses your gastrointestinal stuff. And am I wrong? Am I correct in that? More or less, kind of, sort of?
Yes. Can I explain how remedies are made? I think people like to hear that a little bit.
Please.
Okay. So let's say we take a remedy. I used an example that everyone's familiar with, which is coffee. That if anyone has ever had too much caffeine or too much coffee, they tend to have symptoms like diarrhea, heart palpitations, insomnia, maybe skin rashes. Their headaches because there's too much caffeine. All those kinds of things a person can have. And so when a remedy is made from coffee, and someone comes to me, they may not have ever drank coffee or never have caffeine, but they exhibit these like really restless, insomnia kind of, same symptoms. I would give them the remedy made from coffee called Cafe Accruta. So how is Cafe Accruta made? So I'd like for everyone to imagine that there's like 30 solo cups, those red solo cups, the beer cups, whatever, that are filled 99% full of water and a little bit of a solvent, like a drop or two of alcohol, just to kind of keep it fresh. Okay. So you take your cup of coffee, a dropper, you take one drop, you put it in that first cup, you cover the top, and not only do you stir it, but you pound it. You get it really, really activated. The water is activated from the energy of the substance, and you do that 10 times. And then that cup is called a 1 centesimal or 1C. Then you take one drop of that 1C cup, not the original, you put it into the second cup. You pound it 10 times. They used to do it on a Bible, so I'm using my hand here, but they used to do it on a Bible or a book. They do that 10 times. That's a 2C. You take one drop of that, you put it into the next cup. You do it 10 times, and that's a 3C. And what this is, and what's in that kit, is a 30C. So by the time that you get a remedy that's either a 6, 12, or 30C that's sold over the counter, it's been highly diluted. And once it gets to the 30, they take a dropper of that and they stick it on these little sugar pellets to deliver the substance. So in my office, I've got thousands of remedies. They all taste the same, but the energy of the substance that's been dropped on them is all different. And so that's the delivery method, are these little tiny pellets, and they're usually sucrose or lactose pellets.
That's amazing. And
Yes.
when we come back, I want to ask Abby Beals. By the way, her website, Rochelle, is?
Yes. Well, she has 2 of them. I'll let you explain that when we come back and how you kind of work them. But if you want to visit either one of them, it's homeopathyprimer.com and homeopathyhealings.com. So check that out, but don't go anywhere too far because we have a break to take, and we'll be back to talk about much more engaging stuff and learning about this ourselves.
And just so you know, if you go to the second website that you mentioned, you can always get to the first website that you mentioned. So, because they're connected, kind of like she is. So we'll be right back in a minute 10. Don't go away.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to BrushwoodMediaNetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald. And that's me, and Rochelle is right there, and Abby Beale is right there. And by the way, you're going to be on the Brushwood Media Network. Are you excited? You can jump up and down if you want to. And
Good prompt.
It is so cool because the type of information that you are providing us, I know that they can be helpful to a lot of people, and the education is the key, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think so this is why I do podcasts. This is why I like to talk about homeopathy, is that this book, Homeopathy Primer, was created with 35 other contributors, other people that are experienced in homeopathy. I'm the lead author. I'm the one that knows how to publish, and that's why I'm the head of it. But these are people that absolutely feel so strongly that people should be learning homeopathy. And there's a lot to learn, but this is kind of like a one-stop shop. There's some other great books in the world for sure that are beginner books, but this is like a manual. And like I use it for study groups. I have beginner study groups, and a lot of other homeopaths are using this book also. And I just want to share one thing because this is kind of what helps people understand. So we're coming into flu season, right? And so what we have here, if you can see, we have lots of chart. We have 100 of these charts. So these are remedies for flu, and most of them are in the kit. Not all of them are, but it shares with you kind of like what was the onset, what are the symptoms, what's the mood of the person, what are some of the indications, and what makes it better or worse, so that you can make an intelligent decision on what remedy you might want to take. And if you don't make the right decision, pretty much nothing happens. But if you make the right decision, all of a sudden you start to feel better. So it's kind of like it's about learning. You test the waters. It's not like chemical medicine where you're going to take something. Like you could have a kid who loves the sugar pellets and they eat the whole vial, and parents freak out. They go, "Oh my gosh, it's like poison." It's like, no, they might just have a stomach ache from the sugar, but that's about it. Really, there's no poison here because it's energy medicine, not chemical medicine. So understanding that you can really try this on your own. You could create a study group with other parents, moms, families, whatever. Homeopaths, if any of them are listening, please consider doing study groups because we need more and more people to learn to teach homeopathy so other people can learn. It's really about spreading the word about just getting into what homeopathy is. And then there's so much more to learn, but this is just like come in. It's nice in here. It's good.
Welcome.
Come
Yeah.
in and welcome to you.
Welcome.
We're happy you're here.
Yes. And you will be too.
Exactly. Rochelle, go ahead.
Yeah, if somebody wanted to buy this kit, um, there's so many options in it, but someone would say, "Oh, well, there's not enough." So what exactly does that kit provide if someone's like, "Hey, I want to buy it, but I'm leery."
Mm.
What would be your reason to tell them that it's helpful in more ways than maybe just a few?
Wow. Great,
Without
great
learning
question.
about all of the things because you have gotten knowledge.
Mhm. So in every kit, there is a little booklet. It's a cheat booklet that comes with it that tells you one or two indications for the remedy. But I'm just going to just quickly look at this. Okay. The
Yeah.
first one is more for fear. Another one is for a horrible cough that doesn't have any mucus that comes up. Another one is for bee stings. This is for anxiety. This is for bumps and bruises. This is for stomach flu. I'm just like going through it. This is for grief. This is for a bad cough where you gag and throw up. This, I mean, like there's a lot of stuff in here for all different purposes, and this
Yeah.
is the base. These are 36 of the base. I am so excited that I have a colleague of mine who she also has a remedy center. She has created a kit specifically for homeopathy primer. It has 128 remedies in it. It has every single remedy that's mentioned in the book, and so she and I are going to be selling that on my website. It's going to be a lot more than $73. But this way, if there's any remedy that they see in the book that they need, it's going to be right there for them. So that's kind of cool, but it's a very different thing. This is just a great little travel kit. This has 36 of some of the most common remedies that you would ever need, typically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for
Well,
acute
but you mentioned
situations.
grief. That's not just mental and it's not just physical. That's an emotional, spiritual thing. And
Yes.
most people would be like, "Oh, you can't help me with that." But if it's
Ah,
for $70 and it could last you as long as you could imagine, I'd say
each,
that it's very well worth it. And congratulations for starting that
yes.
with her. That's
Yeah.
huge.
I'm very excited about that. That's going to come pretty soon. And we are also starting a Patreon channel in the next month or so too, because people want more than just the book. They want more information. They want more handouts. They want to learn. They want to learn. So we're going to be starting a Patreon channel soon too, under Homeopathy Primer.
Very good.
I got another
Mm.
question for you, Abby.
Yes, sir.
If you're somebody that has recurring different nightmares,
Mm.
is there anything that can be done? Because medical science says, "Well, I don't know what the problem is," and but is there something that can be done to calm the brain so that they can sleep quietly and without having to deal with
Mm.
stuff?
Yeah,
Of
just shut it
course.
off.
It's about knowing more about specifically what those dreams are about, what's going on in that person's life. Is there something they're afraid of? Is there something that they have been traumatized with? Sometimes PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder, can make that happen. Again, the same son. This is I'm telling stories on him. There's a scary TV show for kids, I'll call it that, when he was 7 years old, called Scooby-Doo, if you remember, if anyone knows that. It's these cartoons, and there's ghouls and goblins and whatever, and he watched one of them, and for, like, over a week or more now. I was not a homeopath at that time. I was just starting to study, and he sat bolt upright in bed and said, "I can't go to sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see those ghouls and goblins." It was totally freaked him out. And so I contacted our homeopath that we had, and I said, "This is what's happening." He said, "Here, give him this remedy." And I did, and he went to sleep that night and never had another problem. And so it's important to know all the specifics around it. It's not just, oh, if you have bad dreams, you take this. It's more like, so what are the dreams about? Where did it come from? Why are they so afraid? Are they sitting bolt upright? Are they buried under their covers? Everything matters to us when we take a case. So it's kind of important, all important. But yes, is the answer to that question.
Awesome, awesome. I will tell her that the next time I see her, I will tell her
Okay.
that there's some stuff that can be done.
You're so
Um,
subtle.
I know. Why do you think I'm single? Anyway.
Well, it's such a big deal because they treat us as if we are all one. Yes,
Mm,
we are on a
yeah.
certain level, but
Mm,
we don't all vibrate the same. And that's why when we
no.
came into the show and Kevin was like, "Well, it's energy medicine."
Mm,
That's hard for us to maybe wrap our
mm,
minds around, but so comforting, right? Because
mm,
and there's not 25 of us, including me, you, and Kevin, going into a
mhm,
doctor's office that same day, talking about the same issue, getting prescribed the same thing, saying,
mm.
"Let's see how this works 4 weeks later
I
when your
know.
brain understands what's now happening.
Mm,
And if your body doesn't react well to it, we'll try something else." This is like
mm,
whoever you
mm,
are and whatever you're dealing with,
mm,
there is nurturing, there's care, there's a sense of protection, and it eliminates so much fear, which is half the problem we have in the first place. And
mhm,
that's why we don't talk to our doctors. So it's got to be much more of an opening atmosphere for people to just feel maybe normal as a human and going through these things without having so much fear about what may not work. Because as you said, it
mm.
won't harm you, it just won't do anything, right?
Yeah, right. In this case, for these acute situations, definitely. The remedies that I use are also higher in potency, and that's for professionals only. But they go
Mhm.
200, 1M, 10M, 50M. They go a lot higher. And so you have to know how to use them. Otherwise, those could be an issue. But I only talk about 30C mostly in the book because I don't want people to be going into the
Yeah.
higher modes
Like,
until
I'm
they know
gonna
what they're
find
doing.
my own herb and make it myself.
Well,
And
you're
I
going to
hate
put
to break it
the
to you, Abby, that
pharmacies
might be
out.
mean. Yeah. How long did you study this stuff for exactly to get to where you're at? Because I bet you still have, like, so much you learn every day.
I still study. I still study. Well, I was doing another profession at the time, so I was studying part-time, and that took me about 10 years before I took the national certification exam. But that was my plan. It was because I was being a mom, I had 2 kids at home, I had this other
Yeah.
career, and I wanted to learn homeopathy. So it took me that long. Nowadays, I think people can become homeopaths within 2 years or so, 2 to 3 years, from what I've understood, if they do it kind of consistently. I didn't do it consistently. I did it part time. And I still study. I mean, the classes I take and oh my God, the things I learn. I still learn every day.
And Abby, before we go to this, our last break,
Mm,
I want one of the things that we pride ourselves on at Positive Talk
yes.
is that we can help people from all over the world. And Samuel says, go ahead, Rochelle.
Thanks, Kevin and Rochelle, for hosting guest Abby. We have learned a lot and will share this with our Kyberia community. Also, if you have a YouTube channel, please share to viewers. Thanks. So, with that in mind, do you happen to have anything going on YouTube that you do aside from what you're doing here with us?
At the moment, no, but I will have the Patreon channel pretty soon. And any of the podcasts that I've done, I believe, go up on YouTube. I'm sorry, I haven't gotten that far. It's hard to be a homeopath and a marketer of a book at the same time. It's, yeah, it's a lot. So,
Well, Samuel, I'll tell you,
yeah.
go and visit her website
Mm.
if you have access to that. And what is your main source if you were to tell somebody, hey, this is where to find me? Which would you say?
Either place. So hello at homeopathyprimer.com is one email, and the other is homeopathyhealings with an S at gmail.com. Either one.
Perfect.
Yep. They
Perfect.
both come to me. So
And Abby, we've got one more segment to play and play out, and so we're looking forward to that. But first, I need to play this, and we'll be right back in 1 minute and 14 seconds. I promise. For way too long, we've allowed shadows to dictate our steps. Our clamor of division, the whisper of fear, and the harsh grip of hate. They've tried to define us. But this is our moment of truth. We remember who we truly are, not just separate islands, but a vast ocean of shared humanity. We declare our independence from the narratives that have pulled us apart. We choose curiosity over judgment, empathy over indifference, understanding over accusation. This isn't about ignoring our differences. It's about celebrating the strength woven into our tapestry. It's about remembering that progress isn't built on exclusion, but on common ground. So let the banners of kindness fly high. Let the anthem of unity ring out. This is our declaration, our independence from what limits us, our freedom to truly connect. Because together we are stronger. And together, we are free. And this declaration is brought to you by Positive Talk Radio. And welcome back to Positive Talk with Abby Beale, and Rochelle is right there. And I know you have another question to ask Rochelle.
Yes. Ah, Kevin, how do you know these things? Abby, I could. I know.
Or psycho, one of the two. Go ahead.
I could sit and talk to you about these things for so long, but I'd like to know one of the feedback, some sort of feedback that you got that was just massive that you could share with us and our learners that are listening to this, to say, hey, you might be maybe a little afraid, and that's okay, right? It's something new. If you haven't learned about these things and spent all the time and dedication you've given to it, and somebody new that's like, hey, I really want this, what would be your one maybe testimonial story that you have where you were really able to help someone that blew your mind?
that blew my mind.
If it wasn't you yourself while you were learning this.
I'm just thinking about what I want to be introducing here. So I think what blew my mind was a young man. He was at the time 6 or 7 years old. He had repeated fevers. He was taking asthma medication. He was on nebulizers. He was out of school probably, at least 1 to 2 weeks a month because he was sick. He was just, it was really like, why is he getting so sick?
Yeah.
And it kind of was one of those situations where there was a genetic component to it, where his family had some, they had sexually transmitted diseases in the family. And so giving a remedy, in this case, this is not from the acute kit, But for as a practitioner, giving a remedy for that specific sexually transmitted disease gave to this kid after he took it, which does happen, is that there was a temporary intensification that week. He had an illness, and then after that, he never had another one. That's how the healing happened. The body identified with the substance, and then the mother kept telling me, well, he's not on allergy medicine anymore. He doesn't need the nebulizer anymore. He doesn't have fevers anymore. He's in school all the time. And it was from one dose of that remedy that was given to this kid. And so it's amazing what it can do. And this kid is great. He's now a sophomore in high school and he's doing great.
Yeah.
So just
And that's
imagine the
exactly why I
trajectory.
asked you.
Yeah.
Because from all age ranges, this can be huge, right?
Mm. Oh gosh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
So
The best
now,
answer.
Abby, there are some cynics among us that would say,
Mm.
well, this is just like the placebo effect.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you've run up against that
Mhm.
discussion before.
Yeah.
What is your answer to no, this is real and this is honest and this is energy energy personified?
So certainly I'll give credit, validation to the placebo effect. However, homeopathic medicines are also given to newborns. They don't know what they're getting and they do well. You give them to dogs, cats, horses, cows.
Mm.
They do better. They don't know what they're getting. You can also use them for plants. It's called agrohomeopathy, and they do well. So I'm not so sure placebo effect is always in place. And I've had clients who said, I don't really like this. I don't think it's going to work, but I'll take the medicine. And then when they come back, they're like, all right, it worked. So you don't have to believe in it, for it to happen, for it to work. And when you look at infants and you look at animals and you look at plants, how could that be placebo? It can't.
No, it
That's a good
can't.
point.
No.
And and you were talking about flu shots earlier, and every time, and the older I get, the more often I go to the doctor. Hey, do you want your flu shot? And it's like, I never have taken a flu shot, and I'll tell you why. Because the flu shot that they have coming out for the upcoming season is, what do you call that? A WAG?
What's that? What are you
Wild
getting?
ass guess?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
because they're putting ingredients together that they think maybe,
Maybe.
possibly, that this could be the strain that's going to be out this winter.
Mhm.
But again, it's a WAG. It's a wild ass guess. They think they might know, but they don't really know.
Is
So,
that
and
because,
some, go
sorry,
ahead.
Kevin, I'm just wondering, is that because it's harder to test like chemical medicine rather than what you're doing?
I'm going to give a guess that it's because right now the flu is commingled with whatever strain of COVID flu. And so they really don't have a flu separately from the COVID flu. And so I don't think they have the strains that they need to make the vaccines,
And
to
it's
make it
all
right, in my
and it's
opinion.
all constantly changing.
Right.
And because
Right.
it's evolving and continuing to change,
Mm.
again, it's a wild ass guess that
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Right. And I
So,
just want to share this, if I can show it up here. This is something a lot of people can get in their grocery store. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Oscillococcinum. We just call it Oscillo. It's from Boiron, that same company. I don't know if you can see it. It's like really
Mm.
blurry. I'm sorry. But it has this orange, yellow kind of thing. And it's these little vials that you can buy in drugstores or supermarkets. And people take this either at the first sign of a flu or some sort of an illness, or some people even take it once a month, just kind of like a preventative. And so for those that are saying, you know what, I want some protection, I'll try this oscillococcinum. So they'll take this, and you can get it in your drugstore or a supermarket. So
so does that mean that if I were to take that, I could then leave my house again? Because
no one told you you had to stay home.
oh no, I'm pretty sure I've
Yeah.
never had COVID because nobody's coming to my house that's had
Okay.
COVID, because
Good.
nobody comes, like, to my house. And so, but it would be
Mm,
nice to be able to go out in public again. That would be kind of cool.
mhm. So it's not 100% protection, just like a flu shot isn't, but it's some other form of immunity that you could be building. Let's put it that way. So if you do get sick, it shouldn't be too bad. That's kind of what it could be used for. So it's just a good little over-the-counter thing. Oscillo.
So before we end this, is there
Mm,
food in our stores we could be utilizing more of in the same
mhm.
way without buying something like that in the pharmaceutical area?
Are you talking about more like herbs or teas or that kind of
Yeah,
thing?
I mean, any sort of herb that might be at the grocery store, any sort of fruit or vegetable that maybe we're like, "Hey, we don't realize how beneficial this may be to us," just
Hmm.
as the ordinary human.
Just to be keeping a low carb diet, exercise. You could have citrus fruits or like oranges and kiwi have a lot of high vitamin C. Make sure your vitamin D levels are at a good level. That's also something that I encourage people. And hydrate. Hydrate. A lot of people, some people don't like water. I'm like, well, that's important. You need to have water in your body. You're supposed to drink about half of your body weight in water per day. Not coffee, not tea, but water. And so, a lot of people are very dehydrated. So if you can stay hydrated, eat organic if possible, stay away from seed oils. I mean, there's a list of things that can help people,
Oh,
build
I
better
know.
immune systems. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have a friend, and no, 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 beer doesn't count.
I know
Uh,
it doesn't.
if you drink half your body
No.
weight in beer, you're going to get
Mm,
more dehydrated.
Jaded.
And once you wake up, of course.
Right. You need twice as much of water. If you have a cup of coffee or a beer, you're down. I call it you're down a cup. So you have to have 2 cups to get back to your regular level.
So are there any foods in the
Yeah.
grocery store we should be specifically avoiding then?
Packaged foods,
Well,
anything.
yeah.
I like to go around the periphery of a store typically, just because that's the healthier, more fresh foods, but more fruits, more vegetables. Just stay away from packaged foods. Really prepared, pre-prepared foods, I think, are
And
also not great.
Abby, that's a really big point because if you've next time, ladies and gentlemen, that you go to the grocery store and you look at where the stuff is, look at where the meats are, the
Mhm,
seafood is, the
mhm.
vegetables, and all of that. They're on the outside of the store, and then when you get to the inside, that's when you get cereals and
Mhm.
macaroni and cheese and in the box and all of those kind of things. So stay
Read
on
the
the
label.
outside.
Read the label is what I tell people. Read the label. If you can't read what it says, don't get it. If you
Yeah,
can't read that chemical, like, don't get it. Mm,
And
and
if
if
you're
you're
like
tiny
me,
like
you can't
me and you
pronounce them.
see all these healthy things at the top, ask
mm.
somebody to hand it to you. It's probably worth it.
Yes.
What did you, Rochelle, and this is just a real quick thing. Did you know that there's a science to where they put products in
Yeah.
the grocery store?
There
Oh,
is.
it's Kevin, you know this. It's built the same way in our menus for restaurants. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Kind of similar?
It,
Mhm,
the menu scientific you put the things you want to sell in the middle of so that when you
eye
open the
height.
menu it's in the middle and it's eye height
Eye height.
and the stuff that you don't particularly want to sell that goes at the bottom or at the very top.
Yep.
And so it's this whole thing it drives me crazy, Abby. There's a science to everything these days.
Yes, there is.
Yes, true.
So thank you so much for being here. If somebody wants to reach you again, how do they do that?
They can email or look at my website. So it's homeopathyprimer.com and homeopathyhealings with an S.com. And there's contact forms on there and all kinds of other information. So they'll get lots of info there, both places. Thank you.
And I want to thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else that you'd like to add? We've got about 35 seconds.
So there's a movie that has been out called Introducing Homeopathy that I believe is working its way onto Netflix at some point. So if you can go to their website Introducing Homeopathy and you can download it there and watch it. I think it would be very helpful and educational for those that really don't know much about homeopathy. It goes through the history and all that good stuff. So consider that.
Rochelle, take us out, baby.
Oh,
Oh, you're
can't hear you.
There we go. I had to sneeze, so I thought that I
Oh.
would try to be undercover about it. But thank you so much for this time you've spent with us. As Kevin said, please
My
come back
pleasure.
and share more with us at any given time. And please show your book just one more time. I think that is huge for people.
There you go.
Yes, Homeopathy Primer. Go find that on Amazon, on her website.
It's only on my
And
website right now. It's not on
oh,
Amazon
okay,
yet. It's going to go on Amazon in
perfect.
the next 6 months, but for right now, it's
Okay.
just on Homeopathy Primer. Thank you.
Well, everybody be watching out for that. Go to her website. That's even bigger reason to go and visit that. And thanks again so much for your knowledge, Abby. We appreciate you more than you could imagine.
Thank you for the questions. Appreciate it.
Of course.
And we're gonna hunt you to get you back. We're gonna stalk you until you come back on here, because there's so many. If you're helping people in Kenya, you can help anybody in the world.
Oh,
Abby Beale,
thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Abby.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you.
We love
Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got.